I set my alarm. It's 6 a.m. Sydney. Welcome wherever you guys are tuning in. Let's do our check-ins. Wherever you guys are tuning in, let me know. I thought I was gonna wake up and we were gonna watch the Ghana card, the Amir Khan promotions card. That we predicted some of the fights. It's delayed, so I have the zone on in the foreground here. It's been delayed for 3 hours, so I'm on BoxRec as well, looking to see if there's any news. I got my Twitter up to see if people were tweeting about this card. Maybe the whole card got scrapped. I can't find anything on it. So whenever you guys catch this live stream, if you know something that I don't about the Ghana card, let me know. Because we got action on the Daniel Gorsh fight. He's fighting Alate. And I was really looking forward to watching that fight. That's a fun fight. And then obviously Tabiti versus Dixon. And I want to see Brandon Glanton fight. So, the Lardy brothers are on there. There's some good fights on that card. And I don't know. I think I remember maybe in the last 6 months this has happened once where the fight, DAZN's broadcasting just said delayed, and then we ended up finding out the card was scrapped. Hopefully that's not the case. I know that. What's up, PJ? I know that they put a lot of media and money behind this fight card in Ghana. There were, Amir Khan, putting his foot forward, making his name the promotional side of boxing, which is good to see. He has a lot of people supporting him. Anthony Joshua was supposed to be ringside. Does anybody have any updates on this Ghana card? I even had to go into Reddit boxing, and you guys know about you enter the world of Reddit boxing. Now we're talking a lot about some interesting chats. What's up, Mar the Prince? Salute. I'm gonna let this stream go. It's 6 a.m. my time. I don't have to go to the city to box for like 2 hours. So my goal was we could stream this fight and, we could talk some, chit chat about the sport, but it's delayed. PJ, none of the fights. So in the foreground in front of us, I have my big screen and I have DAZN on. I'm just saying that it's been delayed. Does anybody have any updates on why we think it's delayed? Is it a technical issue? I know the world is really hectic right now. I mean, I went to bed last night hearing the news about Israel attacking Iran, and then Iran counterattacked with missiles. And I do my best to stay away from politics on this channel because it's everywhere. So I know it's nowhere near topographically, so I was thinking maybe it's tech difficulties. Okay, go. That actually, if it's technical difficulties, we're gonna see the fights. I was thinking, it's already been delayed a few hours. Something in the city is happening. Okay, like an uprising? That's what I didn't want. That's what I was worried about. But, topographically, where you look where Ghana sits on a map, it's far away than what's happening in the Middle East. But there's turmoil all throughout the world right now, man. We just need people to just chill out. It's tough out there. Like, I lived in LA, Long Beach, for 7 years. We know what happened there over the last week. And then my home state, Ohio, where I grew up in Northeast Ohio, but a lot of my friends have families. They moved to Columbus, Ohio, better business opportunities. There's a lot of entrepreneurial opportunities in Columbus, Ohio. If you've never been, it's a booming city because Ohio State and the campus, and they're protesting there. So, all right, here we go, Vega. I made an over and under knockdown bet for Hitchens fight. What do you think? I made an under 1.5 knockdown bet. I like that bet. I like that bet. I mean, when you look at your reasoning for knockdown prop bets in 1.5, obviously you have to know the history of each fighter, and neither guy has one punch knockout power. And I see if George gets stopped. Oh, Muscles recommended it. Muscles, Carlo. He loves those knockdown prop bets. What is it paying, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah, in the last few weeks, I've done knockdown prop bets twice now. I've won both. I picked the Naoya Inoue to get knocked down once, 15-1. And then I predicted Hitchens I think so. I like that, PJ. And then I bet and predicted the Hooney versus Fabio Wardley over half of a knockdown, and I won that bet. What's up, bro? Christian, does ringside? Yeah, it does. Christian, I think Christian's referencing the 20-foot ring and the 18-foot ring for the David Morrell versus Iman Katia fight in New York. Is that what you're referencing? Because I just got... I woke up, guys. I got boxing heads all over the world. I'm getting text messages about the ring size in New York. Because I told you, I know Jim Kambosos, George's dad, and Jim promotes Iman Katia, and he's the guy fighting David Morrell, and they put their they wanted a smaller ring. They wanted an 18-foot ring for that New York card, and they got it instead of your traditional 20-foot ring. Johnny, does 18 change anything for you, Steve? Okay, so a couple, we're asking these questions. I mean, when you look in boxing, the smaller ring is going to suit the bigger puncher. Turkey changed New York card size. Okay. So think about it. In boxing, the smaller ring benefits the bigger puncher, okay? A defensive guy, likes the bigger ring. I think Hitchens. And if you guys are wondering about, I think I brought this up earlier in the week regarding MMA, specifically the UFC, why I think it's been sort of awful for their ratings. And you guys can see the UFC ratings are partially, they don't have any superstars. They don't have a Ronda Rousey or Conor McGregor at the moment. But all of those fight cards that Dana puts on at the Apex in Vegas, not only do they not have crowds, but they have a smaller ring. They have a smaller cage. And the smaller cage is the same thing. The smaller cage benefits a grappler and a wrestler. A bigger cage will benefit a striker because you have more room to work. Same thing with boxing. The bigger ring benefits the mover. The smaller ring benefits the big puncher. And obviously we know with Turkey tweeted the most casual tweet I've ever read from a boxing promoter 3 days ago about runners, and we talked about it all week. I'm not a fan of that tweet. I don't side with him on that. You can just tell Turkey's never been in a fight before. Never boxed before. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Guys, wherever you are, we got 16 people on. Can we like this video? One like isn't doing it for me. That's all I ask you guys can do. Just like the video. Let me know that you're supporting the channel just by hitting the thumbs up button. Also, let's see. Great question so far on the ring size. More of that stuff. I was pretty sure I'm betting Hitchens on decision, but ring size change might take me want to take over 10.5. Okay, so you're talking this weekend. Look, if you guys aren't happy with those money line odds, which they're not great, and you're not ethically fine with taking George in the upset, because I don't see George beating Hitchens, the over, I think the over is a safer bet than a stoppage. But on my prop bet, sorry, George, on my prop bet, I'm just rolling the dice and taking Hitchens to stop him on a separate bet. What's up, Landslide? So yeah, I could see if somebody was like, hey man, you have to put all your money on one of these outcomes. You could pick one. Will the fight go over? I think you said 8.5, or will Richardson Hitchens stop George? My comfort level would probably be the over. But me being a riverboat gambler, Garbrandt, my UFC underdog, and Kambosos, I like it. You know, we know what we get with Cody. Are you still taking Core over Zepeda? The smaller ring increases the concern whether Shakur can keep Zepeda. Marlon Prince. Marlon Prince, great question. We're talking about Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda. The longer you guys stick to my channel, and you know, if you guys are new, it's a great question. If you've been here for a while, year and a half, you know where I stand on both guys. I've covered Zepeda's fights, all of them. I cover Shakur's fights. I'm a big fan of Shakur Stevenson. I love how he operates. I love how slick he is. And I've seen both sides. You watch his career, we've seen him offensive-minded before. And as of recent style, we've seen him really heavy defensive-minded. That just makes sense that he's been truthful about his hand issues. Just watch his styles. It just makes sense. So that being said, he claims he's 100%. William Zepeda's style, like I said, if you like a marauding, in your face, on the front foot, Cardio for days style. Man, William Zepeda is your guy. Ducks no smoke. The difference is when we look at resumes and sort of who each guy has beaten, world-class opponents. I mean, Zepeda, as of late, he's been getting tested more and more. I still think Shakur wins. I do. I don't see Zepeda's style, his pressure, his sort of output beating Shakur Stevenson. I think that's tailor-made. Even with a smaller ring, I think that's tailor-made for Shakur's counters, for him to sit down on punches. And it's not my official prediction yet, but as a boxing fan right now, I think Shakur handles Zepeda. I really do. And I think Zepeda is a perfect matchup for Shakur to look great in, because it's not like Zepeda is a one-punch knockout guy. If Zepeda had one-punch knockout power in that smaller ring, I think I might have a different approach. What is up, guys? If Zepeda had a big punch, he'll have a better chance. BR. We see eye to eye. Wherever you guys are tuning in, let's like this video. Let's get the thumbs up buttons up. I still have nothing on the Ghana card. I'm watching it on my big screen here, DAZN. The event has been delayed. That first fight was supposed to start, Jerry Lardy was supposed to start hours ago. I just wonder if you read books or anything. I always loved boxing, but now the betting world makes me so much. Christian, great question about the betting world. My best advice to you, Christian, about books and all that good stuff, this is just my approach, how I live my life ethically. I used to live in Las Vegas. I lived in Vegas from 2011 to 2013 before I moved to Sydney. So I went from Ohio, South Carolina, Pittsburgh, Long Beach, Vegas. And what I learned in Las Vegas is there aren't any happy stories when it comes to gambling. I'm talking degenerate gambling. I spent a time in my life where I needed action every day. You know what I'm saying? There was action every day. And you look at it in hindsight and you realize that's an addiction. That's a drug. You're chasing that impulse. You're chasing that serotonin from our brain. The same sort of like high we get when, lack of better analogies, and you make out with somebody you wanted to hook up with for a long time, or you get good news. It makes you feel good. There's an adrenaline dump. But when you find yourself gambling to get rich or gambling just to get action, and then being obsessed over it, I'm not going to tell you to do that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's a healthy way of life. You're going to end up with gray hair. You're going to end up with, antsy. I don't think it's good for our neurological system. I come about it. I only started giving you guys my breakdowns and gambling advice because you guys asked me. And I do bet on a few sports. So have your perimeters, because if you go about it wanting to gamble on everything, it's easy to lose focus on boundaries. You'll find yourself trying to chase the tail and trying to make the money that you lost rather than accepting losses. So I only bet, like I said, on boxing, MMA, and then NCAA college football. So have some boundaries first. The Battle of the Beast. I know, Mike. Go. One of my favorite fights. Facts. If you're not having fun, you got a problem. Yeah. So you got to keep your mental health. Mental health should be first and foremost. Also, getting rich from gambling is not a sort of reasonable goal to get into it. If you are obsessed with a sport, if you really feel you have a knack for like predictability, and you're known to kind of like, maybe having a little bit of a lucky touch to whatever you do, then yeah. But if you're seeing some guys on social media bragging that they're rich and, showing all the money in cars and acting like that's all they do, I wouldn't believe them. Being in Australia, do you miss NFL football or does? So I played American football, started when I was 7, stopped at 18, played quarterback, middle linebacker my entire life. I come from where football is from, Northeast Ohio. I watch every game still. So I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, an Ohio State football fan, but I watch the rugby too. I live right by a rugby stadium. So during the NFL season, I watch all the games. Do I miss it, like being in America watching games? Every now and then, but rugby's fun. And I've been here since 2013. I actually like watching AFL better. Australian rules football, if you guys have never seen it, research it. They have a sport down here that's only played in Australia. It started in Melbourne, called AFL, Australian football. And that's the one where it's like a mix of NBA, soccer, in American football, and all the players are like 6'5", 6'6", giant dudes. You have to have leaping ability. You have to be able to kick. You have to be able to tackle. You have to be able to fight. It's an insane sport. So YouTube AFL highlights, you'll see what I'm talking about. Rugby's cool. Rugby's a bit one-dimensional. I put NFL over rugby any day because it's more explosive. Another fight, another dollar. That fight still didn't start. Yeah, PJ, guys, we're 15 minutes in. The Ghana event has been delayed. It's my Saturday morning. I thought I was going to wake up and we were going to have the results for the first 3 fights and we were going to stream it live. But no. I will. Mar the Prince, I will. As you can tell, guys, as the channel's growing, whenever you guys ask, I do it. I think though, for my own ethics and my own standards for my channel, if you guys could probably appreciate this, from a edited video perspective, don't expect to see on my channel breakdowns of NFL games or even UFC fights. My channel's strictly boxing on that side of things. So the breakdown, analysis, and fight predictions, the nice edited professionally shot videos, it's always going to be boxing. On the live streams here, this is where I open it up. I call the live streams the Wild West. Some days we're talking about 90s hip-hop rap. Some days we're talking about street fighting. So yeah, I'll post them. Team sports are, yeah. Too unpredictable. Landslide. You know where I find on the team sports, the NBA right now, the NBA playoffs, and NFL, I like doing parlays in terms of not picking winners and losers. Where I win my money on American football is, rather than focusing on winners and losers, I like, receiving yards, touchdowns scored, building a parlay based on outcomes of sort of, star players. Will so-and-so have more than 5 catches? Boom, add that. Will so-and-so have more than 1 touchdown? Boom, add that. Because as the season goes on, the NFL is actually pretty predictable statistically regarding positions, regarding star players. You guys have every good team, every NFL team has featured players, whether it's the quarterback, receiver, or running backs. And then from there, you can see how the season's trending. And so I hit my money on those. Do you see Teo versus TBV and Punch his test dummies to experiment how money changes these content creators? Yeah. Is this your only social media? No, guys, I have social media. Is Gosh winning? All right, let's. I'm gonna answer both those questions real quick. First off, if you want to follow me on social media, my Instagram is my name. Just go to Instagram, JONNYSTOFKO. I've been running my own fitness business for 12 years out of Sydney. So for a while there, my Instagram was like, I put a lot of time in there for fitness stuff, shirtless pics, my deadlifts, my back squat. So rather than I coach boxing and strength and conditioning, so powerlifting, back squatting, deadlifting, bench pressing. But over the last few years, since I started writing books in 2019, I've written and published 2 books, and I've kind of gone down this different route of interviewing people, writing books, and commentating. But I still coach. I just don't post a lot of fitness content on that Instagram. Yeah, card hasn't even started, guys. It's 6:20 a.m. here in Sydney. I welcome everybody to the channel. We got 37 people here. 17 people have hit the thumbs up. Do that for me now if you haven't already. If you haven't subscribed and you watch my content, please do that. I know we're getting a lot of new people on the channel, so if you're watching this right now and you think the lives are too chaotic and you want to know your breakdowns of specific fights, I also break down the fights. Go to my playlist that says prediction. Right now, these lives are on my playlist called the Johnny Says Podcast. Just to clarify, because lately I've been getting a lot of comments. Hey, bro, I wish you would do a shorter video and break down the fights. I'm like, mate, that's exactly what I do. Go to my playlist that says fight predictions. Okay, sorry I'm late, but what's the last minute prop bet? Okay, Boz, the last minute prop bet, I like I like the stoppage. You could take either or. I like Andy Cruz on the stoppage, and a lot of the boys are liking the over on Richardson, Hitchens, and George. Look at your sports book. Look at your app. Whatever odds you like better, the over on Hitchens versus George or the stoppage Hitchens versus George. Let's see our betting app to see if any of the fights got pulled. I think Boz is from Australia. Okay, none of the fights on my betting app got pulled, so all the fights are still live. all the Ghana fights. Because, guys, the Ghana card was supposed to start a few hours ago. And I think PJ said on Twitter he found out that Amir Khan tweeted there's technical difficulties. So I think that's what we're rolling with. I was under the impression, hopefully it wasn't a political thing, because we know that Israel might have just started World War III with Iran. Sorry to bum everyone out, but that's awful. Hitchens said combo as a ham. It's funny reading all these tweets about people who are saying that Hitchens looks weight drained. Didn't we talk about that last night more? WBC is ordering Ortiz Boacek too. Please, please. I can watch Ortiz Boacek fight all week. Like, I could watch them fight all the time. That was a fun matchup. You know what would be interesting about the rematch with... Let me send you some money for the Khan fight. All right? Email me. Or tip me. Some of you, yeah, you guys can tip me. That helps me out a lot. Yeah. Hitchens does always look drained. So I want to talk about that. If you watch Richardson Hitchens fight, even when he was younger, when he was filling out, he always looks drained. But when you look at his body composition, when he's flexing against George, he didn't look drained to me. He does cut a lot of weight, 5'11". When everybody's talking about this matchup, content creators online, and this was my point of difference a year and a half ago. I started doing the Stats Don't Lie going on a year and a half. And it was because content creators with huge followings would never talk about, things like Hitchens has a 74-inch reach. George has a 68-inch reach. That matters. It wouldn't matter a lot if Hitchens was a pocket, like a boxer puncher. If Hitchens was a guy who fought in the pocket and relied a lot on his power shots, his uppercuts or hooks, it wouldn't really, to me, I wouldn't really use it in the narrative. But Hitchens is a guy who uses his jab, and he has a really, really good jab. So when you think about that with a 6-inch reach advantage versus a guy like George, who really doesn't have a long jab and really doesn't use it technically, I think that's, and in my breakdown I told you, I think that's going to be the narrative. And I think that jab is going to be enough over a lot of rounds here to break George down to eventually what we're going to have to see is, will Richardson finally sit on something? Like, come here and then come in too. Because there's one thing with popping the jab here, hitting the 1-2, and then staying at distance. There's another thing here, popping the 1-2, getting under, and then coming in, and then fighting there. That's what I want to see Richardson Hitchens do. And I think we're going to see that. Guys, that's a tactical decision. That's a conscious decision fighters will have to make. Some do it, some don't. I want Hitchens to do it. Thad Gene fought well. It's funny you bring Thad Gene up, Mike. I just was researching Thad Gene because I was watching some of his highlights on Instagram. I was like, how do I know this guy? You're talking about he fights in MMA. Thad Gene's a UFC fighter or an MMA fighter. Think he was on the fence. Hitchens' outcome distance seems most likely. Wouldn't be surprised. George don't have no jab. Exactly. George doesn't have long arms. He's not a thick dude, meaning like PFL. He doesn't have a, what's that? Oh, Ireland. I won't forget that. You guys there's some turmoil. I was reading world news right now, and there's protests going on in your part of the world too, man. The world we just got to hope for, I did a video a couple years back on my Instagram that was very controversial, and I said that if I was in charge of the world, I would make boxing to be taught to all elementary school kids. Like, if you were to take boxing, hand-to-hand combat, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, pick one. I said boxing because I'm a boxing head. And my dad took me to my first boxing gym when I was 7. And I made a video about why I think all little kids should be taught boxing in schools. Teaches you respect, teaches you humility, teaches you consequences, teaches you discipline, teaches you, I could go on and on. And I think over a generation of young people learning how to defend themselves, I think that would have a positive impact globally throughout the world on a government level. Because you get these tyrants who are running countries globally, making these decisions based off of power, who've never been punched in the face, who don't even know how to throw a punch, But it was only like 1,000 years ago. Or look in America, and I hate getting political. All right, we'll change the subject. Ennis Tellis is ordered WBA interim. Dude, that's a tough fight, guys. Ennis Tellis, we talked about. I know last night on the channel we were talking about Boots going up to 54, and we were bringing up all the fighters at 54, and there's a lot of fun fights. I think that's a great matchup for Boots to enter the division, but I don't think it's an easy matchup. Give me 1 second. So I always, when I'm doing my live streams, I always have my secondary laptop here. Laptop, big screen here, and I got you guys here. So I want to pull up that 154-pound division again, because the division is stacked. And yesterday on the live stream, we had 1 or 2 guys saying that they didn't like the 154-pound division, which is fair. Currently, it's my favorite division. Okay, so currently you have, if that's the case, and Boots goes and fights, I think, yeah, Yenis Tellez, ranked 17, 10-0. Okay. I think that it'll be a good test for Boots, but I think Tellez, I'd have to sit with his tape. We just saw him fight. I don't know. I know it's 7 pounds. It's really tough to predict what going up will look like on each fighter. So that's kind of my hesitation on trying to predict that, if that fight gets made. And if it does get made, obviously I'll predict it. But you know, we saw Bud go from 47 to 54. The difference is Bud was at the time, what, 35, 36? And we know Jaron is 27. So, yeah, he's built for 54. My point is, I would expect Jaron to be more explosive. What fight's canceled? Caesar. You're breaking my heart, Caesar. Are you talking about the Ghana card? Kambosos versus Hitchens has been canceled. Is he trolling us? Wow. So on the live right now, we're just being told Kambosos versus Hitchens has been canceled. That's insane. What is going on, guys? Is this whole weekend doomed? Are we doomed? Are we at war? Like, what is going on, dude? Ghana hasn't started. It's still up on BoxRec. I think it's a fake post. That bums me. It's still up on BoxRec. Dude, if that's the case, I'm saying it right now. I'm pulling my money out on all my bets because this weekend's cursed. If George versus Hitchens is canceled and this Ghana card is still delayed, I'm pulling all my money out. And then we know he's trolling it. All right. All right. Okay, dude. Because, like, we already got political. I told you, you know, we know what's happening in the Middle East. The world is at war. America is volatile right now. I'm like, what is happening? Okay. Can we leave the trolling for other people's channels? This channel, we got real boxing heads on here, man. That you're breaking our hearts, mate. Yeah, it's still on there. All right, boys. I appreciate everybody who's researching that for us. I don't have a fourth device to do it. It's Friday the 13th in the States. Oh, yeah. It is the 14th here, Saturday morning, 6:30 a.m., Sydney. I thought we were going to be watching the fights live. Alate fight. Yes, Dino Mac. Great question. I broke this fight down yesterday on the live stream. He's talking about, let me pull it up real quick. I'll show you exactly my thoughts on it. Daniel Gorsh, Alate. The odds are still pretty similar than they've been all week. And here's my reasoning. I put money. I think Daniel Gorsh is going to win that fight, basically because of the weight difference. So when you look at both records, both guys are young. They're about 5'3", 5'4". The reach cancels each other out. They both have pop. They're both on record knocking dudes out. The problem is Daniel Gorsh's last fight, he weighed in at 126 pounds. Alate is a guy who fights at 115 pounds. So when you meet in the middle, Alate's coming up from 115, and that fight is signed to be fought at 122. And when you have Gorsh, who's the bigger guy, fighting in his more natural weight class, 7 pounds might not mean a lot, but you have to also take into consideration rehydration. So when you look at how they go about their business, very similar styles. They're going to meet in the middle. They're going to want to get each other out of there. It's in front of their home country, Ghana. I'm siding and reasoning with the bigger guy with the more power. That's why I like Gorsh. Yeah, Boz. I think it's fake, guys. Hopefully, yeah. I guess somehow bots have entered the chat. No problem, Dino. Great question. And that's my reasoning. And Dino, the longer you stay on the channel, I'll never give you. I might not always be right. I have a high hit rate. We do really well on the channel, but obviously we can't predict the future. My point is, whenever I give you a prediction, it's going to be based off reasoning, film study. It'll never be based off of just odds. I know some bettors will just be odds guys. They kind of bet how they play the markets, trends, and odds. For me to put money on and then tell you guys who listen to the channel why I'm putting my money on, I have to have reason for it, and that's the reason. Could I be wrong? I could be wrong. But when you have two big punchers meeting in the middle, weight classes matter. Divisions matter for a reason. Guys, Manny, I like it, Mike. It's still delayed. If I turn my screen around, you'd see the big screen. I have DAZN up right now. It's on mute. Some of the boys on the live stream went to Twitter right now, and they said that Amir Khan tweeted that they're having technical difficulties. Appreciate you, Dino. So my problem is with the technical difficulties, the first fight was supposed to start 4 hours ago. It's a 4-hour delay. Is anybody... Khan called Grosh out for a fight next. Yeah, Amir... If we're talking about Amir Khan, are you talking about Amir Khan? He's been calling a lot of folks out, but that can't be Amir Khan because Grosh fights at 125. But Amir Khan put his hand up to someone create a ring match. Oh, God. Should I bet on it? Kyle, you're betting off of dreams. Kyle, if you had a dream that Terramona got beat in the first round and you had a dream and you're serious about it, bet on your dream because what if that happens? Now you have a receipt to share with everybody that you had a dream. And I saved these live streams. So if you bet on it and that happens, I'll edit the video for you and send you the video. Abdul. Yeah, Abdul Khan was supposed to fight. Yeah, Yafai. Give me a second. Because BoxRec guys, I'm not going to bet on that happening. BoxRec still has all the fights out, guys, on Ghana. Ashley, the Lardy brother. I wanted to see the Lardy brothers fight. Because if you know that last name, you would recognize that last name. There's a lot of, Ghana, for how small it is regionally, produces a lot of world-class boxers. Abdul Khan, Brandon Glenn. I didn't bet on the O'Hara Davies. Yeah, so they announced that yesterday. If you watch Oscar De La Hoya's Clapback Thursday, he's sitting there on camera with I think he had some sort of leg surgery, foot surgery, and he was talking about TKO and Dana White, and you guys know my stance on this, are promoting the Netflix card with Canelo and Crawford, and that card is going to be during the day, and then at night they're doing UFC Noche. And, I mean, I'm kind of salty that Dana White just walks right into that, and he's promoting. You're not dude, the definition of a promoter isn't just being handed a card to put your body of work name on it. I don't see, I mean, obviously that's a business deal that Turkey made with Dana. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like Dana. I'm sorry. I'm not a big fan of that guy. I don't want to get too personal, but I have personal reasons. Also, guys, just as you heard me talk about my reasoning for my bet picks, when I say an outrageous statement, like I don't like Dana, there's reasoning behind it. He's not, like, this goes back all the way to 2011 when I lived in Vegas, and then again in 2015 when my roommate fought in the UFC. So for 2 years, the first Australian female ever to fight in the UFC was my roommate. I was dating her sister, and at that time in 2015, she got a call from Dana to be on the first ever all-female UFC Ultimate Fighter house, and she was on that house. And she was 34 when she got the call. She was lifelong martial artist. Her name was Alex Chambers, Astro Girl. And so as she went through that process and she had her UFC career, she ended up fighting on the co-main event in Vegas against Paige Van Zandt. She had the 2016 fight comeback of the year. She was fighting Kylan Kern in Adelaide. I was cage side of that fight. And Alex, she was a natural atom weight. Alex fights at 105. She fought her whole career at that weight, but they didn't have that division in the UFC, so she fought at 115. Kaylin Kern was a Hawaiian girl and was beating her every minute, every round. And then with 1 minute left in the third round, Alex pulls guard and got a submission with a minute left. I'll never forget it. It was one of the coolest moments. I was right there. But anyway, through that experience, you know, I'd hear the rumors, and Alex would tell me about Dana, especially his actions on the reality show, how he, you know, his actions with girls. And, you know, being raised by, you know, I had both parents growing up, but, you know, I have 3 sisters, and my mom and my dad raised me always to treat my sisters, girlfriends, mother, women with the utmost respect. So Dana, dude, there's a lot of things about Dana that I'm surprised. He's paid a lot of money for things not to have come out. I'm just going to leave it there. So boxing and rant. I don't think it's good that Dana's, I'm not happy. I mean, is anybody happy Dana White is promoting Canelo versus Crawford? It's like, why is that happen? Like, it's weird. I think that should be at night as well. It's in Vegas during the day. You could wrap that up however you want to wrap it up. I bet you Dana White is going to do a press conference. I bet you he's going to say, oh, the golden age of boxing in the 80s, when in America we would watch Wild World of Sports at Saturday and boxing would be at 1 p.m. and the whole world would watch. It's going, no, he's going to say that, and that's the narrative he's going to paint. But it's because he thinks that people don't prioritize boxing. Boxing is here, mate. And you know, I'm a UFC fan, but you could definitely see since the Conor days, UFC has gone like here, especially with quality too. Like, I watch every fight, but there's nothing. It's become a watered down product. There's too many cards, too many fights, and you know, I don't like how, you know, the matchups too, predictable. But you guys asked me about it last week, and I do have action this week, guys. Any news on Twitter? The reason why Dana is trying to Yeah, he sees a you know, money opportunities, and it's from a business perspective. When you have a guy like Dana who's successful like that, we talked about it a lot earlier in the week, who didn't have any money, goes to Vegas from Boston after getting run out of Boston, pitches to the Fertitta brothers. Lorenzo Fertitta and his brother were already very successful entrepreneurs, multi-millionaires in their own business dealings. Pitches to them a $1 million, you know, for them to fund it, to buy a failing UFC. So that is his legacy, getting $1 million loan and then selling it 15 years later for $4 billion. So from that perspective, you know, you're dealing with a guy who feels he could do no wrong. Dana White in his head feels that he is the man, God complex, whatever he touches turns to gold. You mix that with the success of Ronda Rousey, the success of Conor McGregor regarding the international spread of the sport. He thinks he's going to walk right in expecting Crawford and Canelo, which was handed to him, to put him on the map. The thing that the boxing world needs to understand is that TKO boxing, they don't have a stable. So people could kind of get sort of frustrated with this, but at the same time, you need fighters to fight there. Power slap is whack. Yeah, man, that's a sideshow. I'd rather watch Sylvester Stallone do the arm wrestling. Did you guys ever see Over the Top? One of my all-time 1980s movies. I'd rather watch the arm wrestling. Will, this Ghana card has been delayed for 4.5 hours. If it starts, you'll know, because I have it on in front of me. I'm watching DAZN. The event has been delayed, and some of the boys on the live stream have gone to Twitter. If you guys have another device, every now and then, could you guys check Twitter for us? Yeah, so Ronda, Ali, I was at UFC 290. It was in Melbourne. It was in 2015, 7th row, when Holly Holm head kicked Ronda Rousey. I was there live because my buddy Tony, who's a stand-up comic, was in Melbourne doing a show, and he opened for Rogan. Over the Top. Kenny Loggins, yes, Meet Me Halfway Across the Sky. One of my favorite songs. Me too, any news. Guys, keep us updated. Fast Car in the house. Fast Car, Eddie, the Hitman Hearns, like it. Eddie, I've always just stopped at your first part of your name. I guess I've never really read Hitman Hearns. It's awesome. Who you picking? Who's betting? Enzo Delgado, Felix Batista, San Juan. PJ, that's... Are we talking about Mercado, that fight? I think that's one I'm going to stay away from. I think did I cover this one? The odds are 50-50. I think you're referencing the wow, Sportsbet took a lot of fights down. Pizarro Mercado. It was 50-50. I'm staying away from that fight. Yeah, that's that card. That's what the OTX card. Yeah, I talked about it yesterday. Who would you favor, Haney versus Hitchens? Haney versus Hitchens. Guys, if Haney, great question, Mar. I'm going to answer this in two ways to give you my answer. If Haney versus Hitchens was tonight, and they're fighting off of most recent performances, I would pick Haney if it happened tonight. But if it happens in the future and tomorrow, Hitchens stops George and shows us that he can fight on the front foot and shows us that he'll take risks and punch with you in the pocket. If that happens, imagine if Hitchens goes in and stops George, looks amazing, finally shows the boxing world what everybody, when he was coming up through the amateurs, was excited about at 140. I would pick Hitchens. I would. Because when you look, are they fighting at 40 or 47? Because if it's at 42, then you look at the intangibles. You look at the frame. You look at the skill set. Both have great jabs. Hitchens would be bigger, a little bit longer. And if you add a little bit pop to those punches, the thing about Devin, I'm not going to sit here and bash Devin. It's not. You'll never hear me do that. When you look at his career, he's still young. People realize Devin's not 30. I think Devin's 26. Look who he's fought. He's won titles. But even when you watch Devin punch, and this is not me coming from a fan perspective, it's coming from a coach perspective. When you watch Devin punch on extension, if you're learning how to box, if you do box, you would know this. On extension of punches, especially our straight punches, so our jab and our cross, our 1-2, it's day one, at least for me and where I was taught, it's day one teachings to where on your jab, you flex your tricep. So the tricep is elbow to shoulder. 70% of your arm, shoulder to elbow, is your tricep. So from a bodybuilding perspective, or guys want to build their arms, I always tell them, why are you just doing bicep curls? The bicep's a small muscle. If you want to build big arms, drill your triceps. 70% of this is tricep, elbow to shoulder. The reason why that's important with boxing, and the comment I'm making about Devin, is you're supposed to, on extension, lock the tricep here. Because if we lock that tricep, full extension, palm down, cross, same thing. Lock. Devin punches like that. Watch him drill, watch him hit the bag, watch him exchange. Devin's right hand, he never extends. This never locks. Shoulder not here. And so just on his punching technique, it was kind of interesting. And that's something that I've always talked about with Devin's punching technique, his straight punches. He doesn't get a lot of force on them because he doesn't extend them. He short arms it. You know, my coach back then would say, Johnny, stop short arming your punches. Stop alligator arming your punches. Crocodile arms, he'd say. So he's like here when you should be here. Here. There's no that. It's that. And I think that's that kind of, and then his feet as well. To get power, guys, we have to sit on our feet. We have to dig in our heels to turn. I think a lot of that has to do, he is a bit, with all that aside, and then what happened with Ryan and what we saw against Ramirez, psychologically, you then have to take a kid like Devin and teach him to be more patient when you're punching. But, you know, when you start getting hit a lot and you've been dropped, that's a psychological thing. The extension is a technical thing, but being patient in the pocket and finishing your shots, that's a psychological thing. So, like I said, to answer, long way bout of doing it, Hitchens goes in and starches George, and then Hitchens fights Devin. I'm taking Hitchens. There you go. There's a couple ifs, though. Hopefully I answered your question. That's my reasoning, though, once again, with my gambling. But this is how I've always lived my life. I was that kid in 4th grade you guys did not like. So we're all in 4th grade, right? And we're waiting to go to recess. And the teacher says, all right, class, does anyone have any more questions before we go to recess? And I'm the only one like this. Because if I don't understand something, and I've always been this way, if I don't understand something, I'm not just going to sit back and act like I know something without somebody explaining it to me. So this is how I go about my life. Sometimes I drive my girlfriend insane, but it helps me as a coach. It helps me as a writer. It helps me as an author. It helps me on this YouTube channel. Did the Tabib fight get canceled? Devin is gun shy now for good. Fast car. And, you know, and when people say gun shy, it's what we talked about. It's tough to overcome those. Okay, think about this. Look at Diego Corrales' career. And this is where I think the proper boxing purists have a narrative to hate on Devin. Because just because you get knocked, or think of Arturo Gatti. Think of any fighter that's been knocked out and knocked down and come back from the dead within that fight. That is what we want to see from Devin psychologically over the rest of his career. Being able to, now, is that a switch? Is that internal? Is that already built into one's DNA to not give a F about getting knocked out, not caring about one's own sort of well-being for the sake of the fight? And so this is why guys like Chico Corrales was so beloved, didn't have a perfect record, but he did not care about his well-being. Even if he got hurt, he was going to try to hurt the other guy, even if that meant him getting knocked out. This is the hate that I think is warranted in my head from the purists when it comes to Devin. Not Devin is a runner, or Devin is scared, or Devin is weak, or his dad's a clown. None of that. None of that. It's in that dog fight. People want to see that. Shout out to Fast Car, gold member. Yeah, Fast Car. All right, is the Tabiti fight canceled? Guys, DAZN, the fight has been delayed. The whole card has been delayed. We're on this stream for 45 minutes. I'm gonna let it run. I don't have to go to the city to spar for another hour and a half. I was hoping we were gonna be able to watch a lot of these fights together, but DAZN is up. The event has been delayed. Some of the boys on the live streams were on Twitter, and they said that Amir Khan tweeted that they're having technical difficulties in Ghana. I have no idea what time it is in Ghana, but the card didn't even start yet. And right now, this was supposed to be the main event. And there's a lot of fights on this card. It's on Max Sports on YouTube. Is that a fact? Could you guys clarify that? Could you guys go to YouTube and see if it's on Max Sports? Because if that's the case, I'm going to change servers. A fight just finished. Oh, shit, dude. Good looking out, whoever gave us the heads up. All right, what channel on... All right, I'm changing it. That's insane. What fight is on, guys? And what channel are we watching it on? Fight Sports? Yeah, they fight at 12 a.m. at night. Max Sports. I don't even know that channel. Is it a subscription-based channel? How the hell did you find this? Max TV Ghana. Dude, I told you, I learned more from you guys. Max TV Ghana. How would we have known this? If I didn't have you boys, I would have just chalked it up. Okay. So what are you guys searching? Are you guys just searching Max Sports? Or are you guys typing in Tabiti? Okay. The longer you stay on my channel, the more you'll realize that I'm not that quite tech savvy. I'm 43, mate. I grew up in a house where we had a dial phone. It was plugged into the wall. Lardy, this is great. I'm happy. I wanted to see Lardy fight. Whoever just found this, we applaud. Whoever just told us to go to Max Sports, we applaud. David, we just found out that DAZN is suspect. You got to go to Max Sports. There it is. Max Sport has the card. Or maybe you have to type it. I still don't find it. Max Sport Ghana. Jamaica, Nigeria. Give me 1 second, boys. So Lardy just fought. You said that means if Lardy just fought, we got... Because that was the beginning of the card. Max TV Ghana. Okay. I'm doing it right now. So this card's going to go way over time. Max TV Ghana. The betting site that I use is Sportsbet, but a lot of you boys are coming from different parts of the world. So maybe somebody could help him out with the betting app. There we go. Battle of the Beasts. Got it. Make my day. There's only 300 people watching it. Whoever you are who told us to go here, we salute you. Nice. And the crazy thing is, guys, spread the word. If you guys got, you know, tell Muscles, tell Gary. There's only 300 people watching this stream on YouTube. There's over 50 watching mine. I'm surprised that there isn't way more. All right, they're in between fights. We're back in action. Finally. All right, let's see where we are. Have they updated any of the fights? Okay, so you said so that means, nice. So that means Richmond Ashley fight, Jerry Lardy. Was that Jerry or Jesse Lardy who just fought? ESPN bet. All right, let's see these bets. Any action here? Okay. I mean, I know that Amir Khan's probably not going to be happy that the DAZN feed's not working, but maybe this is kind of just a undercard sort of thing. Blessings. Let me hit you real quick. Let me answer that because somebody else asked me about this fight. So Galal's 9-0, 7-0, flyweight. Francisco Rodriguez, great fight. Yeah, on paper, it's not going to be my official breakdown. I'm definitely going to be covering this fight. You're talking about Rodriguez versus Yafai. Right now, the narrative is obviously career resume, trajectory. I don't know what the odds are saying about Yafai and Rodriguez, but I think Yafai's trajectory, I mean, a lot of people are hype about him. I think I'm going to side with him. But stay tuned to the channel because I'm going to break that. I'm definitely, it's on my to-do list. I'm going to break the video down. Guys, regarding my predictions, the professionally shot videos, I do it week to week. I stay segmented because there's so much to think about. I don't like looking too far ahead. Right after, we also have a Japanese card after the New York City card. And then in 4 days, we have Brian Norman Jr. I agree with you. Rodriguez will, and this is why I like the fight for Yafai and whoever his handlers are, because he is going to see the problems from a guy with over 40 career fights. We're going to find out a lot about him, but I need to do my due diligence before I'd really talk about that fight. We got Brian Norman Jr. happening late next week as well. Sasaki, that's a good fight. That should be a fun, action-packed fight. I'm interested to see if we're going to be able to bet on some of those fights there. But they're doing a bunch of
as well as
okay, so they got the announcer in Ghana. They got the announcer in Ghana in the crowd. I've never seen this before. I know Anthony Joshua just got there. Okay, Max TV Ghana on YouTube. If you guys just chimed in, they're showing the fights. DAZN's feed is not working. And they're in between fights right now. I guess Jesse Lardy just fought. And Abdul Khan, Brandon. So the main guys haven't fought yet, even though it's 4 hours delayed. Guys, wherever you are, could you like this video? Could you keep the questions coming? Let me know if you have any questions. We got the fight tomorrow in New York City. They just had the weigh-ins. The Ghana card just got underway. We thought we were going to watch it on DAZN, but it's for free now on YouTube. The Ghana crowd. No comment. I bet you it's fun there, though. I'd love to go to Africa. There's like certain moments in our lives where you kind of have these bench points. And in college in California, I was doing a class on cultural anthropology, and we had to study a primate. Or we had to study an animal in captivity, and I chose a primate in the LA Zoo. So the whole assignment for the semester was I had to go to the LA Zoo and study a Western lowland gorilla named Evelyn. And I had to watch her mannerisms, how she moves. And dude, for like 10 weeks, like I felt like, so my whole life changed that day. Like that whole semester, it's been on my bucket list to go to the Congo to see the Western lowland gorilla in its natural habitat. That's like a bucket list thing for me. I'd love to go to Africa. I work with some real estate agents from Ghana. Yes, and we know historically there's some great boxers that come from Ghana. dating back, my era, Azuma Nelson, Richard Comey. Rando, I want to. So just go to Google. So Rando Light, you could Google just my name, Johnny Stofko. The first book, they should come up. They're in the bookstores down here in Australia. I know my first book was carried by Barnes & Noble in America. The first book is called Ungoogleable. And in that book, you'll see interviews with Evander Holyfield. You'll see Layla Ali's in my first book. Pablo Valdez, AJ from Ghana. Yeah, he's supposed to be here. But I don't know if he's from Ghana, but I know he's good friends with Amir Khan. And this is Amir Khan's promotions. But I didn't put two and two together. Is AJ from Ghana? I thought he was from Africa, but I didn't know if it was Ghana. Nah, I don't think he's from Ghana. Yeah, let's make this paper. Ike Cordy was another one. Okay. There you go. So that's the connection. Were you talking about my... I'm confused. I thought you were talking about my books. Oh, yeah, Rando, you were talking about my books. We got confused because, guys, I also write books. If you like to make money betting, there's always a crazy good opportunity at BKFC. Manny, I don't watch enough of BKFC to bet on it. So, like, at this stage of my life, for me to put money on something, even if it's $10, maybe it's my own reasoning. Maybe I'll start watching BKFC too. Bare knuckle boxing. Every now and then when I'm bored, I'll go to YouTube and watch. Do you guys ever YouTube the gypsy fights? Like, it's not an organization. It's in the YouTube gypsy traveling bare knuckle fights. And you'll see all these videos from like Ireland, Scotland, England. Let's bet on BKFC. I'll get in it. Jose Miguel, give me a week. Give me a week. Okay. All right. So I didn't know you boys were into the BKFC. Brennan Ward this weekend. You ever see Redneck Boxing? I like Redneck Boxing's Instagram. I like the announcing. Everything about Redneck Boxing is hilarious to me. They just get these like dudes out of the streets to fight each other. Their promos are hilarious. BK, Bomac getting hit with strays on the live. Good. Jose Miguel, let's fingers crossed. I like those picks. I think Ricky, every pick I picked, 6 of them. I know some people don't like that long parlay. It's a long parlay. Don't go too heavy on it, but sprinkle something on it. I can see everyone winning. I think Rose beats Maverick. Ricky Simone should handle Cameron Smotherman. And then off the top of my head, there's some other fights there that I like. But there's a couple fights, matchup per matchup, should go our way. Because especially in the UFC, when we're thinking about predictability stylistically, if the more you know the sport, the more you just understand their game plan. Kyle put me on a Redneck Boxing. The announcing is crazy. The promos are crazy. I may take Torres over Moulay. Odds are way too high. Is that fight? Are you talking? You talking about Richard Torres? Is that fight official? Made a small bag on that Thad Gene PFL last night. He looked good. Only has 9? That was his 9th fight. Always comes in shape. I think Thad's 26 now. A really good young fighter. Yeah, Ali Penfold. I've already had my coffee though. So I went live at 6 a.m. I woke up at 5 a.m. So I was doing some homework, watching some other fight channels. I was watching Gary's live, seeing what they were saying. So if you guys were on Gary's live, Gary and Muscles, I'm not too convinced on. I don't like going heavy on like knockdown. If I ever pick a knockdown prop, I'm not putting it on a parlay. Like if I like an over under on a knockdown, I'm not gonna then say, the outcome, the knockdown. I know they roll that way. I just feel like you could get nice odds on a knockdown prop and just go heavy on it. Same. Yeah, the Pizarro fight, same. Malik and Wellmaker. Yeah. Wellmaker, guys, it took Wellmaker. They can't find that guy a fight, dude. What if you got Wellmaker? I think he's from Georgia. Dude is a savage athlete, knockout artist. They had to find Chris Matinho. Chris Matinho is the dude that went viral for getting his ass beat the whole fight against Sean O'Malley. And then he fought another fight and then got cut. And then he was on the regional circuit and they bring him back. And Wellmaker, if you can get the Wellmaker by stoppage, definitely do that. Women's fights and boxing MMA overs. Yeah, I make a lot of money off the ladies. Except when Gabby fights. Every time Gabby fights, I take her by stoppage. I'm on a roll with her. I win a lot of money on Gabby. She's one of my favorite boxers, male or female. And some of you guys don't like that, which has the potential to be an upset tomorrow. Which has the potential to be an upset tomorrow? Great question. Which fight do I want to see an upset? I want to see George beat Hitchens. But this is going to sound odd to you guys, Johnny, but that's hypocritical because you put all the money on Richard. I did. I don't care. I put all my money. I'm going heavy on Hitchens, not only to win, but to stop George. But I want to see George win. I'll be cheering for George. My money's not on him, though. Maybe that's not exactly your question, though. What fight could I see in reality as an upset on that card? Give me a second. There is one. Oh, you already know. Argentina. Yeah, Manny. Argentina. Campos. Campos, and he's still a dog against Donaire. I'm very comfortable with that pick. I broke that fight down. You can watch my reasoning. It's on my playlist. Guys, if you're new to the channel and the lives give you anxiety, I've been reading some of your comments. Go to my fight prediction playlist. You'll see these nice, cute 10-minute videos where it's just me, produced and edited, and I tell you my breakdown reasoning. I tell you why I like Campos. Yeah, I like Campos. He's fighting, obviously, a future Hall of Famer. No, I didn't bet on Pizarro. Guys, okay, the stream just ended. Are you guys getting that? The Ghana stream just ended. Does that mean that we're on DAZN now? Yeah, it did just end. Guys, do we think that DAZN picked it up? I don't think... Did mine freeze or did your YouTube thing freeze? I don't think Usman beats Buckley. The internet went out in all of Ghana. Gold member. The more I pay attention to your comments, I know who you are now. I'm watching Zone 2 and it's not showing. Okay. All right, we're kind of in a bind then. The boxing froze. Don't know if... So let me answer the question. I think Campos beats Donaire. I'll get to Buckley and Usman too. I think Campos beats Donaire. Donaire's 42, future Hall of Famer. Hasn't fought in 2 years. He looked really sluggish, slow. Dare I say, I hate using the word shot. I hate when analysts or even guys doing the fights call boxers shot. I think that's so disrespectful. So I'm not going to call Donaire. I'll never say a fighter shot. That's just... But Donaire, he should have retired a couple times. Campos is 28, young energy, young. He's going to have the speed advantage. The fight's going to happen in close range. Donaire's going to have a puncher's chance. We love Donaire's left hook. It's one of my favorite punches of coming up. When you watch Nonito Donaire in his prime, the Nonito Donaire of 2019 who lost to Inoue beats Campos. All right? That version doesn't exist anymore. Somebody tell me who Johnny took. Hitchens. Hitchens. I'm taking Hitchens, but I'm cheering for George. Yes, SGA. Those odds should probably be $1.10. The odds on SGA scoring 30, you don't get any juice on that. I make more in these playoffs. I've been making a lot of money on Pascal Siakam. I've been making all my money on the playoffs with the Pacers scoring. So I'll piece together like yesterday. Nemhard, Pascal Siakam. I had Halliburton over 20. So like said player over 15, said player over 20, said player over 15, said player over 10. It paid 8-1. $100 gave me 800. Who are you more confident, Hitchens or Andy Cruz? Probably equal. Probably equal. I think Hitchens. I'm very comfortable with Hitchens beating George, guys. I talked about it yesterday. George did not look good against Jake Wiley. Jake Wiley is and no shade on Jake. Jake Wiley is a domestic level Aussie boxer. George should have stopped Wiley. George started losing rounds to Wiley. Richardson Hitchens beat Liam Perro. Hitchens won a world title. He's a world champion. Nobody talks about this. The whole weird boxing narrative by these mainstream media sources only talk about what Hitchens looked like against Lemos and what Keyshawn did to Lemos. I'm like, why is that the narrative? And if you are using what Hitchens looked like against Lemos and what Keyshawn looked like against Lemos, then why wouldn't you then say that maybe is it possible that Hitchens broke Lemos down and then set him up to get beaten and stopped by Keyshawn? That could be a possibility. But why wouldn't you then say Liam Paro beat the boogeyman in Puerto Rico? Nobody wanted to fight Subriel. Nobody. Paro comes from Australia, goes to Puerto Rico, beats Matias, and then Hitchens goes down to Puerto Rico and beats Paro and takes his belt. But why do all the people talk about Hitchens versus Lemos? I mean, don't you think the champion deserves a little bit more credit than a fight in which he won prior to his world title fight? It's an odd thing to me. It's so bizarre. What have you done for me lately? Hitchens won a world title. George beat Jake Wiley. Happy Friday, Dwayne. Just got off work. My work ends tomorrow, right? Nice. I love the U.S. amateur boxing scene. Keep me posted, Dwayne. I got a lot of the fathers who watch my channel who keep me posted on some of the young amateurs. Christian, I posted the parlay. So, did anybody go to DAZN? We were watching the Ghana fights. They're not on anymore. Oh, yeah. No, the Ghana live stream is off. This is insane. They need to get this sorted. I'm going to go back to DAZN and see what I'm checking DAZN. Me too. Still off. The feed is dead. It's delayed. Still on DAZN. God, we got teased. Still delayed. All right, it's 7 o'clock. I'm going to stay on. Like I said, I have to dip to go box. You can't watch on YouTube. Yeah, no, I'm not going to you're not going to see my screen on YouTube. You pay pay-per-view for that trash. No, what are we talking? DAZN? DAZN's down here in Australia, Rambler, DAZN is a subscription service. It's one of our only options in Australia to watch international boxing. So you pay I think I pay $12 a month and I get all the fights. But sometimes we get blacked out. Like I couldn't even watch meth streams. There ain't no way I'm downloading something called meth stream. You guys are out here. You guys are wild, dude. I'm a grown man. I'm a grown ass man. I'm gonna pay a $12 subscription fee rather than download a meth stream. Y'all wild. Crack stream. Are you guys messing with me? See, I don't hang out with a lot of people. No, the 20 quid. No, it's free on DAZN. You don't gotta download. It'd be working. See, I'm an old head. You boys, I'm sure a lot of you boys are younger than me, but you'll get to a place where you're my age where you don't got time for all them little crack streams, meth streams. I'll just pay the $12, dude. If Australia doesn't let you. Okay, so we couldn't get the Keyshawn card. Even if I paid $1,000 last weekend, we couldn't get the Norfolk card, and that pissed me off. Yeah, Grosh, me too. Live stream, easy. So, guys, keep me posted about if the DAZN comes back on. Is a friend, favorite podcaster, rap star, rooting for him. Ghana got some shit internet. Damn, man. We're seeing the Ghana card on YouTube. We watched one fight. It's off. Now, DAZN. Yeah, it's delayed, Rambler. It's been delayed. The card, it's going to be a headache. So what's going to happen is I'm going to leave to go box in 30 minutes. And I'm going to come back on my live stream. And the card's still not going to be started. I know. I feel bad for Amir Khan, though. I mean, he got Anthony Joshua in the crowd. There's a lot of celebrities down there. He brought all these guys from America. I want to see Brandon Glanton. I want to see Gorsh, who's from Ghana. The Gorsh Alate fight is probably the one I want to see, but I want to see Brandon Glanton as well. Nice, Cortez. I appreciate you. Guys, wherever you're tuning in, we got the boys from the Philippines, Ireland, Australia, America. We are an international channel. I grew up in America. I live in Australia, so it's all over the place. Could you just like this video? We got 40 people hitting the thumbs up. That's all I ask. I give you all my prop bets. I give you all my money line bets, whether we win or lose. We have a high hit rate. And all I ask for you is just go like that. Just hit that thumbs up. We're 70 minutes in. I'm still going to wait. Like I said, it's 7:10 Saturday morning here, my time. I thought we would be watching at least the Alate versus Gorsh fight. But no. I know one of the Lardy brothers fought. You know, they were both big favorites. Dwayne, I don't have a Discord, but a lot of you boys are asking me to do it. I'm going to wait. I'm going to start a Discord. I just want to make sure I understand the ins and outs. And I'm a system guy. So if you've been on the stream all morning, it goes back to how I'm wired. I don't want to just download the Discord without having a system and understanding it. So I'm going to create a system and use it applicably, and then I'll let you guys know that I have one. But I just haven't had time yet. I've been focusing on growing the channel this way. Did Abdul? I don't think so. Happy Friday, Jesus. It's Saturday where I'm coming from. Where are you at, Jesus? Good point. Dwayne, but yeah, it's coming, Dwayne. I appreciate the question. Some of the other boys in the group have asked me that. So yeah, we'll be doing that in the near future. I'll let you know. We got a lot of fights this weekend, guys, but we're getting blacked out right now. We're not seeing the Ghana. Go to your... When did you start making YouTube videos? It seems you have been super serious about it lately. So, Manny, I started doing YouTube videos. I did a documentary, and the whole thing... I started the YouTube. The whole thing was I used to interview... You know, I had a podcast from 2015 where I interviewed, you know, world champions, entrepreneurs, and I would put those interviews up. And then I started another podcast, Fighters, and then I write books. But then in 2020, I did a documentary. Have you guys ever heard of Burmese boxing? So Burmese boxing is called Lethwei. So Lethwei is bare knuckle, but you can headbutt. I told this story earlier in the week. You can watch the documentary. I followed around the first ever white world champion in Lethwei for 2 years. We went to Myanmar, we went to Cyprus, we went to LA. It's on my channel. So Manny, go to playlist and go to the playlist that says documentaries, and you'll see the Lethwei one. Yeah, Josh Van is from Myanmar. But Burmese boxing looks like Muay Thai, but they don't wear gloves. It's their national sport, and you're allowed to headbutt. So you're allowed to boom. Another thing about Lethwei is there's no scorecards, so you can only win by knockout. No, Nathan. I'm comfortable with Buckley beating Usman. The art of 9 limbs. So they call Lethwei the art of 9 limbs, and Muay Thai is the art of 8 limbs. Yeah. So yeah, we went to. I pitched. You'll see in the documentary. I was in Sony in LA. I pitched to them. I got investors. Well, the CTE rate in Burmese boxing. The thing about it is, usually if you're going to get knocked out, you get knocked out. The problem with regular boxing, Western boxing, are the glove size. So it's the volume. More often than not, it's the volume of punches. Guys, Jack, Gorsh didn't fight yet. The Ghana card is delayed, guys. They're having a technical difficulties in Ghana. Some of the boys have been keeping us up to date. No, it's a great, Kyle, it's a valid question, buddy. It's the first thing I thought of was that. No, Jack, he got knocked out. Didn't happen yet. Hitchens will struggle with IBF 10-pound rule. Lightning in a bottle strikes again. Let's go! I thought he was meant to... He was. Jack, the whole card's been delayed because of technical difficulties. So we've been jumping back and forth from DAZN to YouTube. And we were watching the YouTube stream on Max TV Ghana, but then that cut out. So we're kind of... Buckley, Parlay, none of the stream. I know. They're not working, though. I don't think the fights are even happening right now. It's delayed. Let's go to BoxRec. Let's see if they've canceled any. I don't think they've canceled. Dude, there would be a riot if they canceled these fights. We saw the crowd. The crowd is huge there. So my question is, though, I think they're going to have to make a decision in Ghana because the crowd's there. They're going to have to make a decision real soon to just have the fights and maybe and release the recordings later. Can Hitchens drop Campbell? I think he can late. I do. I think he can late. Yeah, the crowd look pissed. And the crowd's pissed because they're waiting for the streaming to come on point. But like I said, they're going to have to make a decision to just go ahead with the fights. I haven't either, Goat. This is insane. This is insane, guys. 7:15 in the morning here. If I had to pick for the Pizarro fight, You're talking about that OTX card again. You guys love what? Everybody loves this OTX card, man. I don't. All right, if I had to pick that fight, Pizarro versus Mercado. I hate that fight, but if I had to pick a gun to my head, I think Pizarro does the better work. I would, if I had to pick one, I think I would lean towards Pizarro more than Mercado. Nathan Ibarra feeling an upset. Upsets happen. Caleb Plant. Upsets happen. Josh Taylor. Upsets happen. Wendy Toussaint. Upsets happen. Nair Albright. So we've seen a lot of upsets, guys. It could happen. I guess they fought because you can't bet on them anymore. I'm going to check BoxRec. So, Rando, BoxRec still has all the fights up. Thoughts on Alex Barrera? Give me a second. Yeah, BoxRec right now, guys, on the event for Ghana. Because we know we saw the end of the Lardy fight. I think it was Jerry Lardy fought. So Abdul Khan, Brandon Glenn, O'Hara Davies, Muhammad Tabiti, and Gorsh. There's still the main event that hasn't happened yet. So like I said, they're going to have to... I would go to Twitter. If you guys have your Twitter up, go to Amir Khan's Twitter. Because I guess an hour ago, Amir Khan tweeted. Well, they're having technical difficulties. But he's going to get burned for this if they don't go ahead with these fights. Because we know about the rich history of Ghana boxing. And that place is packed. He's going to get torched online for this if they don't go ahead. Do you think it's safe to throw $50K on Andy Cruz to make... Mate, I would... Bro, we have to talk about risk versus reward. Let me focus on that question, the 50K question. When we're talking about, even if you have disposable income, even if money is not an issue, go about it with some reasoning around it. Risk versus reward and ROI, return of investment. Because it sounds to me, if you're asking about a 50K bet to win $3,000, the money isn't an issue. If it's not an issue, what's our next step? Return of investment. Is a 50K risk worth making $3,000? In my opinion, hell no. No, dude. No. Don't put 50K to make $3,000. Don't put... Now, if you can make... Where would my limit... Where would my cap be? My low-level ceiling if I'm throwing 50 on a fight? For me to throw 50 on a fight, I personally would want to see at least a 25% return. You know, I think 25% would be my margin. You know, so 50 would give me 75. No, that would be a 50. So 50 would give me 12.5. Yeah, so even that. I think 12.5, 25% return on 50, 12.5 plus. Yeah, but 50 to make $3K? Hell no. Put that 50K on Norman. Money line. I like that. My biggest bet was 20K last year on Jake Paul against Ty. Damn, man, you out here betting on Jake Paul fights. They let you do that? And then the weekend after, I had 20K in John Jones and Ruffy. Ruffy! Good fighter. John Jones. We ever going to see that Aspinall fight? I don't know. I like it. If you're winning, do it. But 50K to win 3 is... I don't know, man. I don't know. Because you know if you win that fight, you got 53, you're going to be, you know, create some have some boundaries of what you will and won't do moving forward. Yeah, I just ethically what that said, Johnny, tell us a wild bet you made before they hit. I think recently, and I live in the world of what have you done for me recently. The most wildest bet recently was me putting money on Naoya Inoue to get dropped against Cardenas. And it paid 15 to 1. That's a wild bet. Nobody, I put the receipt up. Nobody else showed me their receipt on that. So yeah, man, on John Fernandez fight. You guys asked me about this fight too, the John Fernandez fight. Also last American football season, I put $10 on a Cleveland Browns game to win $6,000. So that's a crazy bet. All these things had happened. Defensive touchdown. The Browns had to win. They were an underdog. A, B, and C had to score a touchdown, and there had to be a fumble. All of that hit. I'm torn on this. The most I've ever bet was oh, I'll get into that. I got a couple questions. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys, for real. If you guys want me to cover Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr., I'll do it. Only because the last time Jake Paul fought, I wasn't gonna cover. Okay, boxing's back. I wasn't gonna cover Jake and Mike. I didn't want to see Mike Tyson fight Jake Paul, so I didn't cover it. Okay, Manny. Manny, I'll cover it. Mike, that's fine. Don't, no one, I think Nunes 300 on that fight, please don't. Okay, so Rando doesn't want me to cover it. Yeah, good channel, fair, non-biased. Rick, I appreciate you. Yeah, I'm good. Guys, my day job, I'm a coach, so I run my own coaching business, meaning that I come at it, I'm empathetic, and I thank my mom for that. I'm never going to, if you guys have questions about boxing, I'm never going to clown you. So don't feel hesitant to ask questions. Even if you feel they're dumb questions, just ask questions, especially if it's about boxing. But I'm going to put a poll up, guys, regarding the Jake Paul Chavez fight. I'm going to let you guys answer that if you want me to cover it. I've been really kind of crucial in covering Jake Paul fights on my channel just for the ethics of the sport. I don't like how he's been prostituting our sport. I don't like how he goes about his business, and I'm not a hater. Great entrepreneur, wealthy, rich, knows how to market. I like what he's done with the female boxing. He's done great. Jake Paul's a great promoter. From a promotional side, he's done a lot for female boxing, man, and that's amazing. My 2 older sisters, my 3 sisters were all athletes. My little niece just graduated NCAA college softball player, full ride scholarship. I come from a family of athletes, a lot of girl athletes too. So I appreciate what Jake has done elevating the female boxing game. I told you, I used to manage a female boxer down here in Sydney. So I appreciate that. But Jake is a boxer to fill his ego. Dude? Come on, mate. So it's tough for me. Respect for the entrepreneur. Yeah, Christian, I appreciate you. Jake Paul fights are easy money. Bet on that's the only. No, I'm not judging any of that. I'm not judging you guys betting on Jake Paul. I'm not saying that. I'm coming at it from doing an actual breakdown on the channel. I'll think about it. I know the fight's coming up. I'm going to put a poll up. We'll see how the poll results go. Because I assume he's going to have some legit guys on that undercard. Serrano Taylor, 3. I know a lot of people are picking Taylor. I like Amanda. I like Amanda in that fight. Minus Shields, I know. Yeah, and he just signed Shanika Johnson. She's from Queensland. She's a champion too. She's stepping up on short notice. In a really tough fight. I think she's going to get beat too. I think she's fighting Metcalf. Shanika Johnson. The Aussie girls, the Aussie female boxing has blown up in the last few years. Zerto the co-main to Jake Paul. Zerto the co-main. Insane. No, like I said, what would Jake Paul to get I respect Jake. As a boxer, though, I'd want him. It's tough. I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm gonna hold a righteous position over another human going about how they go about their business. So I'm not a hater. It's not that I don't respect him. I just didn't want to see a 56. To see Mike in there at 56, everything that he meant for boxing, what he means to fans, just the fact of getting hit, and the health side of things. We've seen it play out. I mean, look at some. Have you seen James Toney speak recently? We know Ali, but the guys that after that era, it's not people die in our sport, mate. People die in our sport. It's nothing to be played around with. It shouldn't be taken lightly. So the fact that you get on a mic and you talk trash about another guy and you're selling a fight, there's just a way to go about business. And I approach my life, more. Read the book of 5 Rings, guys. I brought the book up before. It was written by a samurai in the 15th century. Musashi. The Book of 5 Rings. Not a hard read. It's a short book. It's more of like a code of ethics, how one would carry themselves. And I'm not a guy that cares about money either. I don't care. Oh, he's making it back. I don't give a shit about that. I don't care about. I'm not an object guy. I don't. You won't see me flossing or flashing. I'm not. Let me show you how much money I got. Let me show you my cars. I'm not that type of dude. So, yeah, it's not that I don't respect him, but we all live our lives from different ethical standards. And I just think, prostituting our sport, no. Tyson fight was, nasty work, We grew up an hour from each other, guys. Jake Paul's from Cleveland, Ohio, a really wealthy area. I'm from an hour south, Youngstown, Ohio, a steel town, not a wealthy area. And at 7 years old, I was in a boxing gym. You stunting that dining table. That's not a that dining table, baby. That dining table, boy. I got all the wealthy shit on that, boy. My homemade painting, that Nike, boy. That's a Kelly Pavlik magazine from 2008. So right there, that there is a magazine from my hometown. It was when Kelly beat Edson Miranda. Miranda was supposed to beat Kelly in that fight. I got that bookshelf right there, player. Don't even talk about my little, you see the, my ukulele. We be out here stunting. Yeah, the only time you'll ever see me, now, granted, if you see me out, I'm always going to be dressed nice. My dad raised me to do that. Johnny, a man will always judge you by your appearance. Don't disrespect our last name. Costs more than my car. Well, Kelly's my friend. During your time in Long Beach, did you get banged on? Banged on? She crazy. My time in Long Beach, I'm not a troublemaker. I went to Long Beach for grad school. Initially, I went there to play baseball. Didn't pan out. Ended up going to grad school, and I ended up finishing grad school in Nevada. I did a lot of crazy, dumb stuff in Long Beach, though. Did I get banged out? Nah. I hung out with, my boys were, in the I told you this story before. I hung out with a lot of tough dudes, and, I have no problem in public. I'm the quiet guy in public, guys. If we're out, I was raised like, Johnny, if you're ever, in a bar and fights pop off, lean up against the wall. Or my dad was like, Johnny, never be the last guy leaving a nightclub. He was like, if you're the last guy leaving a nightclub, two things. You either didn't get pussy or you're looking for a fight. So I carry myself, I'm not a talker in public. I never instigate anything, but I'll throw hands. If it ever gets taken to that point as a young dude, I will definitely, I'm definitely a scrapper. Did you ever post a pic of that? Yeah, I did. I posted the pic. Go to the post section. I got money on Camp. Me too. I got Campos beating Donaire. Yeah, I posted my boy. It was me, Kafaya, and Panaka. It's on my post. How long have you been betting for now? How long have you been betting? I mean, I wasn't in Vegas when I lived in Vegas in 2011 and 2012. I was finishing grad school in bartending. No more. I mean, I had, what's crazy, guys? This is some facts. My group, in our weightlifting group in Long Beach, this was in 2006. One of my buddies was a skinhead. He wasn't a skinhead by nature, but he was from Alaska. He comes down to Long Beach. He gets arrested for some weed, and he goes to LA County, and they forced him. He's a white dude, big dude, tatted, crystal blue eyes, and he spent 2 years in county for some weed. You in here for weed? And he was forced to hang out with the skinheads. So he gets out, and he wasn't a racist, but he had that mark of being a skinhead. I meet him at the LA Fitness on Cherry and Wardlow, where my first gym when I moved to Long Beach. And another dude that I just met named Darnell played college ball at Long Beach State, was a basketball player, from New York, from Brooklyn. And so my group of friends was a black dude, Darnell, Kafaya, who was in a Cambodian gang, and a skinhead. We called Jimmy the Needle. And everybody just was copacetic. We just trained. There was no racial tent, nothing. But the gangs, at least what I experienced, were more of like a protection code when the dudes would get locked up. Just check out looking like bone. Yeah. Dude, and Kay, if you look at that picture, remember, Kay got his burner on him too. Like, I was an idiot. I was a young kid, man. I was in my 20s there, man. Nah, not a gangster at all. I'm not. I would never pretend to be either. Why'd they ban you? Why'd they ban you? Did I get banned? What are you referencing? All right, we got the fights on. Yeah, thank you, member. Old ladies always would tell me that. Old ladies, do you know who you look like? You look like John Travolta. Yeah, old ladies. Is Bet365 better than Bovada, people in Cali? Guys, are you in Cali? Could you answer landslide? Oh, God, I missed that. Consistently arbitrage betting. Manny out here with the controversial hot take. I haven't heard somebody drop an arbitrage bet since Muscles did it a month ago and got roasted for it. A month ago, Muscles was on my live stream talking about arbitrage betting, and somebody was clowning him like, "Who is this cat? This dude." And Muscles, if you're on the live stream, you're my boy. But I was waiting to see how you're gonna handle that, because this dude was like clowning him for bringing it up for some reason. I don't know much about it. Well, he was getting roasted because he wasn't able to explain what it was. All he was doing was asking what arbitrage betting was, and somebody came at him twisted because they were like, "This dude's supposed to be a gambler. He should know what arbitrage betting is." Yeah, fights are on YouTube. You know what? Let me send a text message real quick, because I have to make a decision here. I want to watch these fights, but I'm supposed to go spar. It's 7:30. Oh, I haven't stretched. All right, we got to fight, guys. We got to fight. YouTube. The stream looks suspicious, though, dude. Yeah, me too, Lloyd. Dude, this stream looks suspect. Are you guys getting a very dodgy stream? Oh, mate. People on Twitter were heralding Amir Khan, congratulating him, but he's about to get torched. I use busier. Guys, so you're telling me in America, gambling isn't federally legal? You can't, because in Australia, I think I spoke about this before, and to answer somebody's question about gambling, in 2013, when I moved here in Sydney, so my gym, no, I'm gonna have to leave. It's an old school dungeon. These fools aren't trying to watch TV. So when I moved here in 2013, gambling is part of the culture. So like, the girl I was dating, her mom had a gambling app. They're betting on the dogs. They're betting on the horses. They say, "Hey Johnny, you gonna have a punt?" So having a punt is having a bet. So it was all part of the thing. Her dad was a college teacher, and they had a gambling pool every semester on the rugby games. So I'm like, what? I'm like, hell no. I was like, I could gamble. So I downloaded my first betting app in 2013, and that's the one I still use. So I'm a loyalist. It's called Sportsbet. And it's crazy that America is the Wild West on some things, but gambling, you can't gamble. Like, what? That's crazy. I never thought that was weird until I moved here. And now you guys might think that Australia is weird because gambling is, mate, there's gambling commercials. Like, it's everywhere. And like I said, I think, though, if a culture is exposed to something, it doesn't become an issue. We hear stories in Europe, places like where my mom's relatives come from in Italy. My mom's whole side, my one whole side of the family is from Tuscany. So there's part of Italy north of Rome, and little kids drink wine there. Do y'all drink heavy in Australia? I mean, there's a drinking culture. I don't drink. I used to. I'm an old head. I stopped drinking to get drunk. Like, I haven't had a drink. I used to drink in Vegas. Yeah, I focus on my health and my mind. I used to drink. At Long Beach, I was drinking that Henny, smoking them blunts. I was a different version of me, guys. Life, we're supposed to grow. I write about it, though. If you're still on here, Rando, I think you're asking about my books. I write about my first book. Do y'all do the green? I used to slang it. Do I do it? I don't do it anymore. I used to slang it. I used to get, when I lived in Long Beach, a Vietnam veteran named Curtis Montelius, I don't even know if that was his real name, comes up to me. I'm in Long Beach. This is a true story. And Lardy's fighting right now, the second Lardy. And he would pay me X amount of money to wear a suit. My girlfriend at the time, she would dress nice. We would drive from Long Beach to Humboldt County. It was like a 10-hour drive. And at the time in Long Beach, California, medicinal cannabis was legal. So if you had a weed card, you could go to a little clinic, and they were like dodgy clinics, and you'd show them the weed card, they'd get you weed. So Curtis would have me he'd pay me a couple $1,000, drive up to Humboldt. They would expect me to get there. They would stuff my trunk with weed, meaning I'm wearing a blazer with a tie, And then I would just take the 10-hour drive and drive right back to Long Beach. I would meet Montelius at his house, his apartment in my neighborhood, and he would unload it, and he would also then pay me a second time to trim all the trimmings off of it, and then he would take all of it and he would sell it to the dispensary. So yeah, I write about that in my first book though. I think the first line in my first book, it's called Ungoogleable. I think the first line is, I'm pretty sure I'm the only guy ever in history to move to Las Vegas to find himself. That was my first line. And I remember having to call my mom before it got published. I was like, Mom, I write about some crazy stuff in this book, so just giving you a heads up. The second one's out too. So the second one is called the 24-hour reset. I could send you guys. I should do like a contest, or if you guys ever come to Sydney, I'll give them to you. But if you buy them, that's cool too. Albert Ramirez's opponent was very weak. Yeah, guys, we got Lardy here. I got to make a decision. This stream's going on an hour and a half. You know what I'm going to do, guys? There's still a lot of fights left. I'm going to have to go box right now. I'm going to go spar. Hopefully I come back. I won't get touched up too much. And I'll be back in 8:30 and 9:30, 10. I'll be back in like 2 hours. So I appreciate you guys on the stream. Stay tuned to the channel. If you haven't already liked this video, if we get 50 likes, man, that might be a high for me. And if you haven't already, could you please hit subscribe? Let's get this money.